dangerous.
Slide down a bit.
Easy. Congrats, Matt. That was a great series.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thought
Pretty tight the whole way.
I thought you guys looked a little tired in game one.
Yeah.
And then,
Slow start.
and then I thought,
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir à tous. Welcome to Kamloops for the 2023 Memorial Cup Tournament presented by Kia. I'm Maxime Blouin, Director of Communications and Media Relations for the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and I will be your MC for today's Meet the Coaches press conference and all post-game press conferences. Bienvenue à Kamloops pour le tournoi de la Coupe Mémorial 2023 présenté par Kia. Je m'appelle Maxime Blouin, je suis directeur des communications de la LHJMQ et je serai votre maître de cérémonie pour la conférence de presse des entraîneurs d'aujourd'hui et pour toutes les conférences de presse d'après-match. Tonight, I'm pleased to introduce the head coaches of the four participating teams that will compete in the 103rd Memorial Cup. J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter les entraîneurs des 4 équipes participantes à la 103e édition de la Coupe Memorial. First on my left is Sean Clouston, the head coach and general manager of the Kamloops Blazers, this year's host club. Sean has dedicated the past 25 years to coaching, with the last 21 in the Western Hockey League. During his 4 seasons as the bench boss in Kamloops, he has led the Blazers to over 150 wins, including the third best record in the WHL this past season. Sitting beside Sean is Matt Odette, the head coach of the Seattle Thunderbirds, the 2023 WHL champions. Matt joined their coaching staff in 2013 and officially became Seattle's head coach in 2017. Under his leadership, the Thunderbirds have made consecutive appearances in the WHL Championship Series, and this season they brought home their second league title in franchise history. On the left of Matt, we have Rob Wilson, the head coach of the Peterborough Petes. Although he recently led the Petes to their 10th OHL championship, Wilson himself experienced the thrill of winning as a player, being part of Peterborough's OHL championship run in 1989. Despite having the 10th best record in the OHL this season, Wilson guided the Petes to the playoff victories against top-seeded Ottawa 67s, North Bay Battalion, and London Knights on their way to the OHL title. Enfin, à gauche de Rob, nous avons Patrick Roy, l'entraîneur-chef et directeur général des Remparts de Québec. Son équipe vient de remporter le premier trophée Gilles Courteau, anciennement la Coupe du Président, de l'histoire moderne de la franchise, mettant fin à une disette de 47 ans pour les Partisans de Québec. En 2006, lors de sa première année en tant qu'entraîneur de la LHJMQ, Roy a conduit son équipe à la victoire lors du tournoi de la Coupe Memorial qui s'est tenu à Moncton, au Nouveau-Brunswick. Finally, to the left of Rob, we have Patrick Roy, head coach and general manager of the Quebec Remparts. His team recently won the first Gilles Courteau Trophy, formerly the President Cup, in their modern franchise history, ending a 47-year drought for the fans in province's capital. In 2006, during his first year as head coach in the QMJHL, Roy led his team to victory in the Memorial Cup tournament held in Moncton, New Brunswick. The coaches are now ready to take your questions. Please limit yourself to one question and a follow-up question to start, and we'll return for more if time permits. The coaches will also be available after each practice for more in-depth content. If you are attending the press conference through Zoom, please use the chat tool to ask your questions, and my friend Chris behind will ask your question. Les entraîneurs sont maintenant prêts à répondre à vos questions. Veuillez vous limiter à une question et une sous-question pour débuter. Ils nous reviendront à la fin s'il nous reste du temps. Les entraîneurs seront disponibles si vous avez des entretiens plus détaillés après chaque entraînement. Et si vous êtes sur Zoom en ce moment, veuillez utiliser l'outil de clavardage pour poser vos questions. Let's begin. First question, John.
Hi, John Keane, Radio 1L here in Kamloops. Welcome to Kamloops. Bonsoir, everybody. I guess my first question will go with Peterborough's coach, Rob. Rob is a guy that might have the longest bio on elite prospects as a player and a coach. Just want to ask you about your journey all the way here to Kamloops. You find yourself in a Memorial Cup. It's been a long career for you. Just your thoughts of being here and trying to have a good 10 days.
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, it's exciting, and I experienced it once before as a player with Peterborough, and that was a long time ago. But you know, and it was out west. It was in Saskatoon. So great to come back out this way. And you know, it's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, it's the Memorial Cup. You know, we're pretty grateful for everything, and we're excited that we're the team that won, and we're looking forward to doing our best out here in this tournament.
And just to follow up for Sean Clouston. Sean, you know, of course, you're all business, and we always have to remind you about milestones and where you are on the all-time coaching list in the WHL. But this is your second Memorial Cup, at first as a head coach. Will you take an opportunity to kind of breathe it in a bit over the next 10 days and appreciate your coaching journey as well?
Yeah, for sure. And it's actually 3. I was there with Willie Desjardins twice in Medicine Hat, 03, 04, and 06, 07, but it's also been quite a while. You know, we're gonna try to find some balance. I think we want to make sure that we take some things in as a group, as a team. You know, try to really enjoy the overall experience. You know, while making sure we're ready to go and bringing our best each night.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
A question from Carol Schramm from Hockey News for Sean Clouston. Carol's wondering, how much does it mean to your team to have Don Hay on staff after he led the Blazers to their last Memorial Cup title on home ice in 1995?
Yeah, it means a ton. I think that you know, we had a vacancy heading into the summer, and Don and I spent a lot of time. He was still planning on returning to Portland. He'd been in Portland for 4 years after his last stint here. And, yeah, we spent some time. We coached against each other a lot over the years, but hadn't spent a ton of time together. And we had some great discussions. You know, we talked about, you know, coaching styles. You know, I thought it made a lot of sense for him to come back home and be close to his grandkids, but he's been unbelievable for us. The guys love him. He's an unbelievable teacher in his experience. You know, I think this is 8. I think this is 8 Memorial Cups for him. It's going to be invaluable.
Chris, again? Go ahead. Oh, Kevin? Chris?
This question comes from Mike Davies from the Peterborough Examiner. It's for every one of the coaches. He's wondering if you can assess your opening game opponents. So for Quebec, obviously, it'd be Kamloops, and for Seattle, that'd be Peterborough. And so for each of the coaches to answer this question.
You want to start, John?
Yeah, sure. You know, we're getting ready to face, you know, 3 championship caliber teams, so we've got a heavy task ahead of us. We did have some time off. We were able to sit back and watch some games on TV, so we got a little bit of a feel. for what we're in store for. Great depth up front, solid defending team that makes it really, really tough to get to the net. We're going to have to really dig in and work on that. And then a great transition team, a team that, defends and then attacks and comes at you with speed. So I think that, we've got one more day to zero in on a couple of things, but overall we know we've got our hands full, that's for sure.
Patrick?
Yeah, our first opponent is Peterborough, an excellent team, some very high-end players, high skill level, lots of depth up and down their lineup, well-structured, well-coached, high compete level, a nice blend of skill and sandpaper, and really good goaltending. So, all the things you need to get to this level, and it'll be a really challenging game for us.
Yeah, we're playing Seattle. I know that all these teams are very, very good. You're going to have to be at your best every night. But obviously Seattle's had a phenomenal season, and everybody around has taken notice of that. They've done a great job there. It's a great organization. You see the players, the names that are there. Very tough task to start off, but you know what? We're going to go out and we're going to do what we do, and we will go and be ready for the game, and I'm sure as everyone else will. So every game's going to be a tough battle, but we're looking forward to it.
Vincent, Patrick?
Played Kamloops. I watched some of their games against Seattle. I thought they played really well. It could have been a Game 7. I think both goalies were very good. It's a lucky bounce for them, for Seattle, and we look forward to that challenge. Host team, their fans gonna be right behind them, and we're gonna have to be ready for the storm at the start of the game. So it'll be a nice challenge for our group.
Kev?
De ce tournoi-là. Tu l'as vécu en 2006. C'est quoi la clé pour un tournoi si court que ça?
Alors, la première chose, c'est de retomber sur nos pieds le plus rapidement possible. On a eu notre première pratique hier. Les gars ont bien fait ça. Aujourd'hui, là, c'est de s'adapter au décalage. Alors, c'est d'essayer de mettre en place le plus d'éléments possibles pour nous permettre de bien performer. On joue contre une équipe qui reçoit la Coupe Mémorial. Alors, c'est sûr que leurs partisans vont être derrière eux, mais pour l'avoir vécu ici à Québec, des fois, la pression est un peu plus forte sur le club local. Fait qu'il va falloir être fort en début de match, puis de trouver une façon là, de passer à travers la tempête du début de match.
Michael Reeve, CFJC News here in Kamloops. Sean, your boys haven't been on the ice in a meaningful game in a couple weeks here. How are you going to make sure they're prepared and maybe ready to go? Because the crowd's going to be absolutely lively at those first couple minutes of that game on Friday night. How do you make sure they're in the moment and ready and prepared to play?
Yeah, I think the crowd will help. That is a challenge when you've had a couple weeks off. We gave the guys a few days to go home. We got back in town on Sunday and kind of had an 11-day plan, and we've been working hard to execute that plan each day. We've had a couple of real competitive scrimmages and went after it. I think the start will be incredibly important for us, and we're going to have to work our way into it and make sure we're ready to go early.
And to Patrick, almost the opposite of that. You're facing a team that hasn't had a game in quite some time. How do you look to take advantage of that maybe in that first 10 minutes as they try to maybe work off some rust?
Yeah. First of all, it's a privilege for us to be here and representing our league. And we know that they work hard to build a solid team. And they did a good job. Made some very interesting trade at the trading deadline. They brought some skills. But if I look back, there's been a lot of host team that won the Memorial Cup. So it's something we're going to have to make sure we address in the dressing room, but also make sure that we're ready when the puck drops. I know there's going to be. We went through it in Quebec. We had 18,259,000 people for every game we played in the finals, and there was some pressure on our team. So the start of the game is very important. The first goal could make a big difference. So we certainly want to look forward to have a good start of the game, and hopefully that we could score that first one.
Colton Davies, Daily Faceoff. My question is for Patrick Waugh. Mr. Waugh, you won the Memorial Cup in 2005, 2006. What does it mean for you personally to be back here at the most prestigious tournament in junior hockey?
Well, in 2006, we won it in Moncton, but we lost in the final against Moncton, so we were kind of playing the host team. But this year we won our league, so that was a nice achievement from our group. I'm very lucky. I have a very special group of players in front that playing for us and great leaders. So it's an honor for me to be able to coach these guys, and it means a lot to be with them in that experience. So we look forward to the challenge. Like everyone said, it's 4 good teams here, pretty balanced lineup from forward, defense to goaltending. So it'll be interesting for every one of us.
My first question will be for the Western Hockey League coaches. In the last years in this tournament, it's been complicated for the Western Hockey League teams in the round robin. What's the key to have success for your team?
Well, I think we've, our team's been lucky enough to be here in 2017. We learned a lot from that experience. It was a quick turnaround. We didn't quite have our feet under us. Going to Windsor, it's a little bit different this time around. We're just coming up the road, which will be helpful, and we'll use our experiences from that time to be better this time around. I think in general, I think this year in particular, the Western Hockey League teams have done a good job building their rosters, rounding them out and being more complete teams heading into the tournament to be able to compete against these high-end Ontario teams and Quebec League teams. So we've got 2 good entrants into the tournament this year, and hope to have a better showing.
Sean?
Yeah, we're going to use the experience from our staff to make sure that we're ready to go. We address the things that are important. We get our team as prepared as we can. We use the energy of the crowd. We play our game. We knew when we lost out, a couple Mondays ago that we had to get better. So we've really addressed that and worked each day to get better. We know it's going to be incredibly competitive, but I think the guys have some belief right now. It's been mentioned up here a few times. The starts of the games are going to be incredibly important. So we're going to really zero in on the starts.
Puis ma deuxième question, ce serait pour Patrick. Tu as vécu le tournoi de 2006. Quelle leçon tu as retenue de ce tournoi-là? Y a-t-il quelque chose d'important? On parle souvent de l'importance du premier match. Qu'est-ce que tu as retenu comme expérience?
Ben, ça fait drôle parce qu'en 2006, quand on était là, Peterborough était à la Coupe Memorial avec nous. C'était Jack Todd qui coachait le club adverse. On avait perdu le premier match. Puis dans le deuxième match, on perdait 2-0. Alors, tout ça pour dire que même si tu perds le premier match, il faut que tu sois capable de te ressaisir puis de trouver une façon d'aller chercher le prochain. Puis c'est ce qu'on a fait. Puis on est allé gagner le match clé contre Moncton qui nous a permis d'aller en finale. Alors, il y a un gros avantage dans ce tournoi-là d'être le club qui s'en va directement là, à la finale. Alors, chaque match devient important, mais il y a des matchs qui sont... Plus le tournoi avance, plus il y a des matchs qui deviennent des matchs clés qu'il va falloir être en mesure d'aller chercher pour justement essayer de bien se classer dans ce classement-là.
Chris?
Another question from Carol Schramm from Hockey News. She wants to asking Matt Odette and Sean Clouston, After your teams faced each other in a best of 7, what difference is there about preparing to face each other in a 1-game round robin than it is to face off in a 7-game series?
Yeah, I think, probably a little bit more similar to, regular season, 2 real good teams. We met late in the season. Both teams had kind of marked those on the calendar. The preparation, the intensity, was a little bit higher. I think it's a tournament, so the energy is going to be a little bit different. The schedule is going to be different, but both teams know each other real well. Hats off to Seattle and the rest of the group here. They're championship teams, and we know that we've got to bring a little bit more, and that's going to be our challenge.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to face Kamloops late in the playoffs now 2 years in a row, and they've been both hard-fought battles. Excellent team in Kamloops. This being a tournament format, I think maybe a little bit more urgency in this game. Maybe approach it like an elimination game. Which there's maybe a little bit different strategy involved, but we're familiar with each other. It's going to be an intense, physical, hard-fought game.
Question for Rob Wilson. You won the Memorial Cup with the Petes back as a player. What do you bring from that experience as the head coach now into this time around?
You know what? I don't want to correct you, but we didn't win, but we were in it. But you bring a lot of experience from it because, you remember the guys were just saying that you're playing a 1-game off, and it's totally different than if you're playing a series. You can lay it all on the line. There's no worried about game 3 or game 5 or game 7. So when you come into this tournament, it's got to be, you got to lay it on the line, and every time you're on the ice. So it is a little bit different. The intensity ramps up for sure right from the start. And I think we got a couple of guys that have had some experience around that we've talked to as well. That trying to just get the guys to understand that this is it's very short and it goes very fast, and that it's important you're ready off the hop. So we want to be ready and make sure that we're ready to go.
Do we have a last question before we wrap up? Yeah, Chris?
This last one comes from Mike Davies from the Peterborough Examiner, and it's for Rob. He's just wondering, how do you prepare for teams that you've never played before?
Well, for all of us, it's different. Obviously beside the Western League guys, they've seen each other a lot, but for ourselves, we're looking at video, making phone calls, trying to get as much information as you can about the teams you're playing. And they're all very, very good teams, and it's all about your staff working hard and trying to get as much information as you can, and then deciding what's really important and taking that into your group without disrupting maybe how you play and all the rest of it, trying to make little adjustments here and there.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time and all the best for the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.